The numbers A and B are consecutive prime. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the district competition, competition 3, 2012-2013. Written round, second page. Back to the question. I'm just too excited. The numbers A and B are consecutive positive numbers. And A is less than the square root of 536, but, and that is less than B. What are the sum of A and B? So in other words, 536 is not a perfect square. We need to find the two numbers in between it that are perfect squares. So if I go back to this problem back over here, I will remember 529 is a perfect square. And the square root of 529 is 23. So this has to be 23. 529 is awfully close to 536. And it's a little less than. So this has to be 24, right? So 23 plus 24 is 47. Two cars start at the same point at the same time, but travel in opposite directions. One car averages 50 miles an hour and the other averages 75 miles an hour. How many hours will they be 500 miles apart? Now, so the trick here is since they're going in opposite directions, that means that their separation speed is the sum of their two speeds. So if we have 50 and 75, that means they are separating at a whopping 125 miles per hour. 125 goes into 500 4 times, so it's 4 hours for them to get 500 miles apart. What day of the week will it be 472 days from Friday? Now, we are going to make the assumption that this is 2013 when this test was given, and this is not a leap year situation. So, we have 365 days in a year. So how many days do we have left over? Well, we have 7 days in a week, right? So actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide this by 7. And I'm looking for the remainder, and that's how many days forward from Friday I'm going to count. So 7 goes into 47 6 times. Sorry, I should write that up there, 6, right? And that's 42, and so that is going to be, so we have 52 left over, so then 7 goes into 52 7 times with a remainder of 3. So we go Friday, that's our start day. Saturday, which is truly my favorite day. 1 day over, so it's remainder 1, remainder 2, remainder 3 is Monday. And that's the day that it is. Number 14. The average of 6 numbers is 22. When the largest number is removed, the mean of the remaining numbers is 21.4. What is the number removed? So 6 times 22, so we need to find the sum of the first 6 numbers and the sum of the second of the next 5 numbers, and then subtract the 2, and the difference is going to be the number that was removed. So 6 times 22, 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1, so that's 13. And then the remaining numbers, so that's going to be 5. 5 times 21.5. So 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. Oh, sorry, that goes over here. Carry the 2. 5 times 7. No, nothing to carry. And that's 10. So now we subtract. So we can't take 7 away from 2, so that's 5. So I took out a 25. Number 16. Find the sum of the reciprocals of the first 4 prime numbers. Well, the first 4 prime numbers. I skipped 15. If A plus B is 6 and B plus C is 4, and A plus C is -2, what is the value of the product of A, B, C? So in other words, I need to figure out what A, B, and C are equal to. Right? Right. Well, it would be really, really nice to get everything in terms of each other. But at the moment, I can't. So let's try this. I have A plus B plus no C's is equal to 6. I have B plus C is equal to 4. This may not be the magic one way to do this, but we'll see. Plus no b's plus c is equal to -2. All right, so then I have to add these together, right? So we have 2a plus 2b plus 2c is equal to 8. So that means a plus b plus c is equal to 4. Does that get me anywhere? Well, let's see. That doesn't necessarily help me a whole lot now, does it? Because that doesn't get me a product, right? So then the next thing I can do, is say that a is equal to 6 minus b, right? So then 6 minus b plus c, I'm taking this bottom one, is equal to -2. The reason why I can say this is a is equal to, right? So then I know that c is equal to -2 minus 6 plus b. I just moved everything over except for the c. So c is equal to -8 plus b. Great. So then I'm going to plug this into the middle equation. And so I have b plus -8 plus b is equal to 4. Okay, so that means I have 2b minus 8 is equal to 4. So plus 8 plus 8. So I get 2b is equal to 12. So b is equal to 6. All right, so b is equal to 6. So then a is equal to 0. Well, if a is equal to 0, then it doesn't matter what anything else is. I multiply them together, I get 0. Thank you. So therefore, the answer is 0. All right. Here, come on. There you go. Okay, now we're going to find the sum of the reciprocals of the first 4 prime numbers. So the first question is, what are prime numbers, and what are the first 4 prime numbers? So the big question is going to be 1. Is 1 a prime number? Well, the first prime number is not 1, because 1 is not a prime number. So the first 4 are going to be 2, 3, not 4, 5, not 6, and 7. So we need to find the sum of all these reciprocals. Oh, that sounds like fun. So we have 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/5 plus 1/7. So the next thing we need to do is figure out what number all 3 of these things go into. Well, 5 times 7 times 3 times 2. I'd probably just multiply all of them together, really. So I have 6 times 5 is 30. 30 times 7 is 210. So we have 210s. So half of 210 is going to be 105. So that's my half. 1/3 of that number is going to be 70. 1/5 of that number is going to be, I'm going to have to move off the page. 1/5 of that number is going to be 42. And 1/7 is going to be 30. So I have 30 plus 42, so that's 72. Plus 70, so that's 142. Plus 105, so that's 247. So I have 247 210s. Yuck. And then we need to convert this into a mixed number. So it goes in evenly once, basis. So it goes in evenly once, and I have 37 210s left over. Number 17. Store buys shirts for $30, selling for $55. What is the percent increase? Express your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay. Well, I want this video to end, and I'm hungry and I want to go home, so I'm going to start using the calculator a little bit here. So what is the percent increase? So how much did they increase it by? Well, they increased it by $25. So 25 divided by 30 is 83%, and it says round to the nearest tenth. So express your answer in percent to the nearest tenth. So we have 83%, and there's our tenth of a percent. There it is. All right, that's more of an issue of rounding than anything else, or long division. How many different 4-digit numbers can you write using the digits if the first digit must be a 2? Okay. Each digit may be used only once in each number. Okay. So we need a 4-digit number, right? And the first digit has to be 2. So really we're looking for a 3-digit number that is using 1, 2, 3, 4 different numbers, right? So in this case, order does matter, because if order doesn't matter, we can switch around our numbers. So this is a permutation, and our n value is going to be 4, our r value is going to be 3. So we have 4 factorial over n minus r factorial. So that's 1 factorial. So 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2. So that's 24. So the answer should, no, that's not right. So 4 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness, I'm getting stuck. Obviously, I'm hungry and I need to go home. So, oh my goodness, because I didn't count that number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, folks. So it's 5 factorial over n minus r factorial. So that's 2 factorial. There's the problem. So it's 5 times 4 times 3, but not times 2. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. Maybe my pen is too thick because I can't. I forgot the 6. All right. So the letters from the word mathletics are placed in a hat. What is the probability of selecting a T when you are choosing one letter without looking? Really? Really? So there are 2 T's. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Could it really be 1/5? It doesn't really seem worth the paper it's written. The question is so quick. What is the volume of a pyramid? Now remember, prisms are the area of the base times the height. A pyramid's volume is going to be 1/3 of that. So all we have to do is multiply 5 times 7 times 12 divided by 3. So we have 5 times 7 times 12 divided by 3. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 5 times 4, so I'm multiplying the 5 times the 4 first. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 7 is going to be 144. Sorry, 140. Again, so when you have a prism, here's a rectangular prism, the volume is going to be the area of the base, which is base times, let's call it width, length times width, then times the height of the prism. For the pyramid, that can be contained by that pyramid is 1/3 the volume of the whole thing. That's the same for a cone. If I have a cylinder, if I have a cone inside the cylinder, this cone will be 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. Last geometry lesson. The volume of a sphere, a ball, is 4/3 pi r cubed. For my last problem, what is the slope of the line perpendicular to the graph of the line determined by the equation? Okay, so parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular slopes have the opposite reciprocal. So perpendicular equals opposite reciprocal slope. Whatever. Parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel. So I need to get this into y equals mx plus b form so that I can then find the slope and then find the opposite reciprocal. So I need to get the y by itself. So I have 2y is equal to 3x minus 5. So I just did some manipulation. I essentially sent this over here by subtracting 5 from both sides. So I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So I get y is equal to 3/2 x. And I don't care what's over here because it has no effect on the slope. So the opposite reciprocal, so the reciprocal is going to be 2/3, and opposite is the sign. The opposite sign is going to be negative because the slope is originally positive. So that is the rest of the problems on the written round.